From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. Our top stories this week. We take a look at the Navy's new technology ships. We visit a South African facility manufacturing solar flat plate collectors for solar water heaters. And consultants remain bullish on platinum and palladium. All of the Navy's new Valor-class frigates and Heroine-class submarines are now in service. Keith Campbell recently visited Simonstown and compiled this report. The video was shot by South African Navy TV.
The South African Navy is now the owner of 7 of the most modern warships in the world today, 4 frigates and 3 submarines. Rear Admiral Rusty Higgs, the Flag Officer Fleet, highlights that the new frigates have greatly raised the international profile of the Navy.
I think that the wisdom of investing in a modest number of frigates and submarines by the executive in South Africa is bearing fruit, in the sense that it is allowing the South African Navy to operate at the highest level with a large number of navies of the world. We are arguably the only navy which in recent times has exercised with the navies of all the superpowers. We've exercised on our own terms with the Chinese in Shanghai. We've exercised with the Russians off Cape Town with a nuclear-powered battle cruiser. We've exercised recently with an American nuclear-powered aircraft carrier together with an Aegis cruiser, together with a Los Angeles-class nuclear-powered attack submarine. In addition to that, we've exercised regularly with the British Royal Navy. On top of that, we exercise regularly with the French Navy. We are very, very close with the French Navy. So we've done quite a lot of it on that side. Similarly, we've also exercised regularly with the Indians and with the Brazilians, both significant players. And then, of course, every second year we have exercised Good Hope with the German Navy.
Regarding the frigates, Captain Chris Manning, captain of the SAS Spionkop, summarises the technology they incorporate.
The technological advances are significant in that the frigates operate first-world naval technology in the form of automated systems. As far as the auxiliary and ancillary equipment on board is concerned, as well as the weapon and warfare systems.
The automation Captain Manning spoke about is clearly demonstrated by the frigate's MCR. Warrant Officer 1 Roy Marks, the Deputy Marine Engineering Officer on the Spionkop, explains.
The MCR on board the ship, which is a machinery control room, is where all the watchkeepers sit and control machinery and also operate and stop and start, and also check the limitations and thresholds of all the machinery running here. What also happens in the MCR, the machinery control room, is we start and stop the 2 main engines, which are MTU engines, which delivers a power of 6,000 kilowatt each, and also we start and stop the gas turbine, which delivers a power of 20 megawatt, that's 20,000 kilowatt, and together the machinery develops a power of 32,000 kilowatt.
Renewable energy and green industry is getting ever-increasing attention. Creamer Media TV visits a South African facility manufacturing solar flat plate collectors for solar water heaters.
Government has set a target of rolling out 1 million solar water heaters by 2014 and is drawing up the framework on how to achieve this. Local manufacture is a key element that will need to be addressed, and already there is evidence of new factories being established, creating jobs and ways to harness sustainable renewable energy.
Well, we are locally produced, currently employing in the region of 25 people in this factory alone, looking to double capacity. Flat plate collectors, as you can see, is what we are currently building. And we just want to supply into the other manufacturing markets. There are people doing geysers. We want to supply our panels to them. And by and large, for your retrofits, most is going to be the panels. So that is our core aim, is to grow as the market's growing. There's a huge demand, as you clearly know, for about 6 million units retrofits. So we want to strategically place ourselves to be the pivotal in moving ahead with dealerships countrywide that we're going to be supplying. And we work in collaboration with a company called Inti, who's the conduit to offload a lot of the entire systems, and GeoSolar will just do the panels and provide the panels countrywide. At the moment, as it currently stands with our workload, we're churning out 1,000 panels a month. We are, however, gearing up into our second factory to facilitate up to 3,000 minimum a month. And obviously we'll just keep on growing as the industry grows. We need to ensure that it goes through SABS, and all of our systems, we've got 4, have all gone through SABS. And then from there it goes on to the Eskom as accredited for your rebate. But our core focus is to try and make it cost effective so people can actually afford to go green and not run for the hills when they hear the prices.
The latest Johnson Matthey report is bullish on both platinum and palladium. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer.
The platinum price tanked in late 2008, but the good news from the authoritative Johnson Matthey is that both platinum and palladium are poised to go from surplus to deficit. Johnson Matthey's Mark Bedford.
Well, we've put a forecast out this morning of $1,280 at the bottom for platinum and $1,550 at the top for the next 6 months. And, given where we are today, we're relatively bullish about the price.
There has been chronic undersupply from South Africa's platinum mining industry for some time, but the pipeline stocks of metals may alter the picture. Johnson Matthey's Alison Cowley.
Potential for supply increases, although it's there, it's relatively limited. So I think it's reasonable to say that going into 2010, we would certainly expect the surplus to be eaten up pretty quickly. And I think we might well see a market that's in deficit next year.
On the balance of probabilities, we'd be looking at a modest deficit for next year, given what we can see from the supply side and the demand side.
The palladium outlook is also improving as more gasoline cars take to the world's roads under government stimulus packages.
As far as palladium is concerned, well, we've almost been overtaken by events already. That's the hazard of setting a price forecast 3 weeks ago. We set a range of 290 to 390. We're already at 370 plus this morning, which suggests to us that we were right to be bullish 3 weeks ago, but things have moved even faster than we expected. Over 10 to 20 years, we're starting to look at things like fuel cell vehicles, which again is a very positive story for PGM. So overall, we're still bullish about the prospects for PGMs in automotive applications in general.
And now for a sneak preview of this week's Engineering News magazine. In our cover story, we take an inside look at the countdown to South Africa's biggest ever broadcast event, the FIFA Soccer World Cup. The Johannesburg Roads Agency says that all its roads will be ready for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. And the South African Navy is seeking to reduce costs through the greater use of simulation. And in Mining Weekly this week, read about gold miner Gold Fields catching the future as it unlocks South Deep's treasure chest. We report that a disgruntled Simmer and Jack Mines empowerment partner Vulisango has proposed that a new Simmers board be put in place. And Uranium One CEO Jean Nortier says that uranium prices will need to firm significantly to justify the development of many of the mining projects being considered around the world. That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.
Engineering news, not just for engineers.